January 29th, 1945. Holzheim, Belgium. 2:47 p.m. First Sergeant Leonard Funk rounds the corner of a farmhouse and stops dead in his tracks. 90 German soldiers are staring right at him. Half of them are already holding weapons. The other half are scrambling to grab rifles from a pile on the ground. 4 American GIs, Funk's men, are kneeling in the snow, hands clasped behind their heads. 20 minutes ago, these Germans were prisoners. Funk's company had captured them during the assault on the village. But with manpower stretched thin, only 4 men could be spared to guard them. Now the tables have turned. The prisoners are free, rearmed, and organizing to hit Company C from the rear. A German officer steps forward, jamming the barrel of an MP-40 submachine gun hard into Funk's stomach. He screams something in German, violent, guttural. Funk doesn't speak a word of German, neither do any of the Americans. The officer screams again, louder this time, his face flushing red with rage. Funk looks at the 90 enemy soldiers. He looks at his 4 disarmed boys on their knees. He looks down at the machine gun pressed against his gut. And he starts to laugh. The German officer's face twists in confusion, then pure fury. He starts shrieking commands. But Funk just laughs harder. What happens in the next 60 seconds will go down in history. 21 Germans are about to die. The rest will throw down their weapons and surrender. And Leonard Funk will earn the Medal of Honor for one of the most insane acts of close-quarters combat in World War II. All because he simply couldn't stop laughing. Leonard Alfred Funk, Jr. was born on August 27, 1916, in Braddock Township, Pennsylvania. It was a steel town, a landscape of smokestacks and foundries along the Monongahela River just east of Pittsburgh. Funk grew up fast. By the time he graduated high school in 1934, he was already the primary caregiver for his younger brother. The Great Depression was grinding through its 5th year. Jobs were scarce. College was a fantasy. In June 1941, with war raging across Europe and Asia, Funk's number came up in the draft. He reported to the induction center in Wilkinsburg. He was 24 years old, standing 5'5", and weighing 140 pounds soaking wet. The Army examiner probably looked at him and thought, "Clerk, definitely a clerk." They couldn't have been more wrong. Funk volunteered for the Paratroopers. In 1941, the American Airborne was an experiment. The concept was brand new, jumping out of perfectly good airplanes to land behind enemy lines, surrounded and outgunned. To most soldiers, it sounded like suicide. But the volunteers were a different breed. They had to be. Airborne training was designed to break you. 5 weeks of brutal conditioning that washed out half the class. Then the jump towers. Then the aircraft. The first time you step out of a C-47 at 1,200 feet, every instinct in your body screams at you to grab the doorframe and hold on for dear life. Funk earned his wings. He was assigned to Company C, 1st Battalion, 508th Paratrooper Infantry Regiment. By late 1943, they were in England, joining the legendary 82nd Airborne Division, the All-Americans. These men were veterans of Sicily and Italy. They had already killed and watched friends die. Funk was the new guy. At 27, he was practically ancient by paratrooper standards. But he had something the younger kids didn't: maturity, steadiness, and the kind of quiet competence that makes men willing to follow you into hell. By D-Day, he was a squad leader. By the end of the war, he'd be acting company executive officer. But first, he had to survive Normandy. June 6, 1944, 1:30 a.m. The C-47 shudders as flak explodes around it. Funk is standing in the stick, 60 pounds of gear strapped to his body. M1A1 Thompson, ammo, grenades, rations. The plane is at 400 feet, too low for a safe jump, but the pilots can't climb. German anti-aircraft fire is everywhere. Tracers arc through the darkness like angry fireflies. The green light flickers on. Funk jumps. The prop blast hits him like a truck. The chute deploys and the world goes quiet. Below him lies occupied France. The drop is chaos. Funk lands hard, twisting his ankle. A bad sprain, maybe a fracture. The pain is blinding. Every step for the next 2 weeks will be agony, but he can walk and he can fight. He gathers his chute, buries it, and starts moving. He is 40 miles from his drop zone. 40 miles of enemy territory, in the dark, alone. Within hours, he collects a group of lost paratroopers, 18 men from different units looking for leadership. Funk gives it to them. For 10 days, he leads this ragtag group through German lines. They travel by night, hide by day, and fight when they have to. He insists on walking point, limping on his bad angle, putting himself in the most dangerous position to protect his men. They link up with Allied forces on June 17th. Every single man survived. No casualties. Leonard Funk brought them all home. Silver Star, Bronze Star, Purple Heart. And he was just getting started. September 17th, 1944. Operation Market Garden, Holland. The largest airborne assault in history. Funk's unit lands near Nijmegen. While securing the zone, Funk notices something off-script. 3 German 20mm flak guns are hammering the incoming Allied gliders. If those guns aren't silenced, hundreds of men will die before they even touch the ground. The German position is dug in on high ground, manned by about 20 soldiers. Funk has 3 men. Military doctrine says you need a 3-to-1 advantage to assault a prepared position. Funk is outnumbered 7-to-1. He attacks anyway. Leading from the front, Funk and his 3-man patrol wipe out the security detachment and storm the gun emplacements. 20 Germans, 3 Americans. The guns go silent. The gliders land safely. For this, he receives the Distinguished Service Cross. He now holds the nation's 2nd and 3rd highest awards for valor. Most soldiers would call it a career. Funk kept fighting. Then came the Ardennes, December 1944, the Battle of the Bulge, Hitler's last desperate gamble. The Germans crash through American lines, creating a massive bulge in the front. It's the largest battle the U.S. Army will fight in the war. The weather is brutal, snow, ice, temperatures dropping to 20 below. And then the news of Malmedy breaks. On December 17th, an SS armored group captures over 100 American artillerymen. They herd them into a field, disarm them, and mow them down with machine guns. It's not war, it's murder. When Funk hears about the massacre, something hardens inside him. The unofficial rules of war are gone. He makes a decision. He will never surrender. Not to the SS, not to anyone. Which brings us back to Holzheim. January 29th, 1945. Funk's company, depleted and exhausted, captures the village. Funk organizes a makeshift platoon of clerks and cooks to help clear the houses. They round up 80 prisoners. But in the chaos, a German patrol in winter camouflage infiltrates the perimeter, frees the prisoners, and arms them. Funk walks around that corner and finds himself facing 90 armed enemies. The German officer is screaming. The gun is digging into Funk's stomach. The math is impossible. 90 against 1. Surrender is the only rational option. But Funk isn't thinking about the math. He's thinking about Malmedy. He's thinking about his 4 men on their knees. So, he laughs. Maybe it was a ruse. Maybe it was stress. Maybe it was the sheer absurdity of it all. The officer's thrown off balance. Prisoners don't laugh. They beg. Using that split second of confusion, Funk slowly reaches for the Thompson slung over his shoulder. The German watches, thinking the American is surrendering his weapon. Funk's hand closes around the grip. And then, faster than thought, he whips the Thompson down, levels the muzzle, and squeezes the trigger. The Thompson M1A1 spits 45 caliber rounds at a rate of 600 per minute. At point-blank range, it's devastating. The first burst tears into the German officer. He's dead before he hits the snow. Funk pivots, the Tommy gun roaring. He sprays an arc of lead across the nearest German soldiers. He screams at his men, "Pick up the weapons! Get their guns!" The 4 guards scramble for rifles. The Germans are in chaos, their officer is down, and this laughing madman is mowing them down. It's over in 60 seconds. 21 Germans dead, 24 wounded. The rest throw down their weapons again. Leonard Funk stands amidst the smoke and the bodies, reloading his Thompson. That, he tells his men, was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. On September 5, 1945, at the White House, President Harry Truman placed the Medal of Honor around Leonard Funk's neck. Truman looked at the short, unassuming paratrooper and said, "I would rather have this medal than be President of the United States." Leonard Funk returned to Pennsylvania. He didn't write a book. He didn't go into politics. He spent the next 27 years working for the Veterans Administration, helping other soldiers get the benefits they deserved. Quiet, necessary work. He died in 1992 and rests today in Arlington National Cemetery. War doesn't favor the strong or the fearless. It favors those who keep thinking when everyone else has frozen. Courage isn't about size. Courage is what you do when there's a gun in your stomach. 90 men want you dead, and you decide to laugh in their faces.